Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to an edition of Conversations here on Shelbyville Now. I'm David Thomas. Across from me, I've got Mr. Brent Smith, former county commissioner, former Republican Party chairperson here in Bedford County. Brent, it's good to have you sitting down here on this cold afternoon.
Yeah, we got a little snow, David, and thanks for having me. It's been a few minutes since I've been here.
Yeah, it's
So
been a
thank
minute
you.
or two. The last time we met, we were talking about prepping for something, but we don't know exactly what it is.
Yes.
You know, we were talking about getting ready and getting prepared financially and getting prepared physically for physical needs and so forth like that. And Brent, as I look today at the stock market, I look at the news that's coming out, man, there's turmoil everywhere. What do you see happening in the world right now?
I see a fourth turning.
Okay, explain to people what a fourth turning is if they hadn't read the book or hadn't heard the term or don't know what that means.
Yeah, and not to get too complicated, but about every 80 to 100 years, every culture since the beginning of time has gone through a major upheaval. We are in that crisis upheaval moment now, whether it's world war, whether it's financial collapse, whether it's a technological revolution. These things have big impacts on economies and cultures, and we're witnessing it right now.
Well, let's get specific.
Yes.
Look at the Middle East.
Yeah.
What do you see there?
That is a mixed bag right there. I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of factions that are intertwining, and I think what we're looking at is just one clear economic zone there from basically from Egypt all the way to Europe.
Okay, so you're seeing the first step, obviously, is going to be Iran, dealing with them. So we're going to probably go and start dropping bombs.
I mean, I would hate to think that is where we're heading, but right now we have mobilization in the sea over there with some striker groups and some carrier groups, and there's some saber rattling, and it looks like we're really close to that. When you look at how many countries have fallen, Syria was the last one to fall. It only makes sense Iran would be the next, although I hope it doesn't happen. We don't need to be in the business of regime change, and hopefully that's just not the case.
Okay, so everybody should be watching what's taking place here. You look at the financial upheaval that we're having today. Silver dropped the biggest drop it's ever had, but that came right after the biggest run it's ever had.
Of course.
And this is totally being manipulated by the central banks because there's no physical silver to deliver, and they're short.
Yeah.
So they're shorting it even more. So they're just taking it down even harder. This is not a sell-off. So precious metals typically are an inverse of our currency. Well, our currency's going down. Mm-hmm. Okay. And silver had this good pullback the same time our currency was going down today against every other currency in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. So just looking at where we are as a nation financially, we're about to hit a reset button for the whole world.
Exactly. Let me ask you this. Did you take Econ 101 in college?
No, I did not. Well, yeah, you had to as an elective, but it was basic stuff that like anybody would know.
Anybody could figure out basic economies, right? Basic principles of the economy.
Right.
Well, what we've been witnessing is this economy that's just so fake over the past, well, let's just call it since COVID, but we know it's longer than that. It doesn't adhere to the principles of basic economics. And so what we're seeing now, to your point, we got a dollar that's going down. We've got gold and silver that have been going up, hedging against the dollar.
Right.
Other currencies around the world have been backing their currencies with gold, with silver.
Yep.
The U.S. has designated silver as a precious metal that we need for technology.
Yeah, well, it's an industrial and a precious metal at the same time.
Right. So there's just something that's not right with the principles of economics with what's going on with the dollar right now. Did you see yesterday where I think it was Jerome Powell? He's our Fed director, right?
At the moment, he is.
Yeah. He was asked a question yesterday, basically about the dollar, and he said, "Well, that's the Treasury's deal there. That's not really my business.
Nobody wants to touch this."
And
topic.
So, just the fact that he said that and he kept rates the same tells me that there's a lot to come.
Well, new Fed chairman is going to come in and he's going to start slashing rates for Trump. Slashing rates creates automatic inflation. So I think Trump is picking between inflation and depression, and he's taking inflation over the depression. But, we can sit and talk about world economics in our country, and you look at what's going on in Minnesota with ice deal. There's upheaval everywhere. There's turmoil. There's unrest. It looks like that the country is just kind of shaking, especially in big cities.
Mm-hmm. And everybody can feel it. I mean, I've got family in Nashville that are still without power today.
And explain why they don't have power.
Yeah. So if you look it up, the news, you can actually find it here. I just looked it up. WZTZ just basically said that the NES, and that's the Nashville Electrical Service
Right.
up there, basically said they just have all the resources that they need, and other people are trying to come in and help, but they're saying, well, we've got all the resources.
And this all has to do with the union.
I would assume so. That was brought up, and the problem is that you've got families. I've got a family member. I mean, and their family's still in a hotel, and they were told yesterday to be prepared for possible looting of their home, and it's going to be a couple more weeks before their powers turn back on. Now, that's not a conspiracy theory.
It's just happening.
That's not something that's happening over in some faraway country, right, or out in California. This is happening right here in Tennessee, an hour and 15 minutes away.
Right.
And so I think that's why it's so important, David, to just go ahead and let's talk about the 500-pound gorilla in the room. County and your local government and your city government, those are the folks, your fire, your police, your linemen, all these people working together to take care of us if something really bad happens.
Yeah.
All
right. So you've got to, let's just bring this home.
Yeah.
Let's just say Nashville implodes on itself. Let's say Atlanta, Georgia comes unglued, Chattanooga, Memphis. I mean, where are they going to go?
Some of them are going to come here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So how do we deal with that? And I'm not talking they're coming down here to build a house. They're coming down here to
get help
or just take help or take what they want. I mean, take what they need. It's not going to be a pretty sight when you got people fleeing a city like that. So we've got to be prepared to handle something like that.
We do. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's fair for us to sit here and say, the fire department doesn't have a plan or the police don't have a plan. Maybe they do, but I think that it would be nice for the citizens to start to see some of these plans.
Right.
Yeah.
And people, I don't think that are sitting at home watching tonight or whenever they decide to watch this.
Sure.
I don't think they've ever thought about this. I think people are pretty much, they're tied up in their life. They get busy. They're not paying attention to what's going on around them, except a few people do. Yeah. And then when those people talk and talk like we're talking, the other folks that hadn't look at you like you're crazy. What are you talking about, man? I was able to get my coffee this morning. Yeah. I'm happy.
Yeah.
But hey, I can watch my TikTok video. I'm happy.
Right. But when they drive home and they see 20 people in line at the propane store, they're wondering, what do they know that I don't know? Right.
Well, maybe they are, maybe they're not, Brent. I'm afraid we've got some people that are just in a fog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they don't see it.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you do as a family to prepare for it? Well, you got to take care of your financial situation, of course. But going back to our local governments, let's say, look at the state and look at our county. Okay. You said you hadn't seen a plan that's come up. There's probably a plan somewhere.
I hope there's a plan. Yeah.
But it needs to involve the citizens. Okay. And to say the citizens don't care, I mean, that's an honest statement. If I'm fire chief around here, I'm going to say, well, they don't care. Because that's kind of the way I've seen our community engage in our local government. They sit back, they're going to do what they want to do. Now it's time to get engaged, I think. But now,
the number one thing that I've heard, I've been here since 2012. So, that's
you had time to get acclimated to what's happening.
Yeah. And the thing that I hear over and over in Bedford County that I just haven't seen in other communities that I've lived in is, I'm just not political. I don't want to get involved politically. Now, those people will be the first people to call you if you happen to get into office that need a favor, need help, need direction on where to go, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But they just don't want to get involved in politics. Now, it could be a monetary thing. Maybe they're got a business here locally and they don't want to support the wrong, guy or gal or whatever.
That's rampant, man. Let me tell you something. I have people asking me about property taxes because they know I'm kind of keeping up with what's going on.
Sure.
What's going to happen with these property taxes? These keep going up. They keep going up. I say, you need to contact your commissioner and talk to them and tell them I can't get involved.
Yeah, I can't get
involved.
What
is that about?
Or call your mayor and figure out Better Bedford. We've heard Better Bedford for 8 years. I have yet to see just a basic whiteboard plan of what a Better Bedford looks like and our goals, and are we attaining them? Where are we? Where were we? I'm not saying that things aren't better now than they were.
It's debatable. We got more coffee shops.
We got more coffee shops. We got a few things that are a little bit, but and I'll just use that as an example. We need, just like you said a few minutes ago, we need to be more involved as a citizen in the community with our elected officials and have them representing us
Right.
versus the special interest of the powerful few.
Okay, you mentioned this earlier.
Did you hear what I just said? The
Yeah,
special interest
you know
of the
it.
powerful few.
Exactly. And that little board I've got over there, it's a whiteboard. We could put it up here and we could write down a few things and start trying to plan some stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, government at all levels, including down to the smallest community in this state,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm including Bedford County, the
Mm-hmm.
city of Shelbyville, whatever, they generally plan through the rearview mirror, is what I've seen.
You
That's
have
the
to.
reason.
You have to.
Well, we got to change that.
Yeah, it's like when you run an election. I mean, if the election's in August, you start in December and work your way back to it. With,
Yeah.
with planning,
Yeah.
and it's just part of running a business. I mean, this is a multi-million-dollar business here in Bedford County.
Right.
And whether you sit on the city commission, or you're a mayor down there, or you're a councilman down there, or you sit on the county level. I mean, these are multi-million-dollar projects.
Well, you got to start looking out on the horizon
You
at
do.
what's coming.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
you can't wait till you pass
No,
it.
no. Well,
It's going to gobble you up.
how many businesses, David, have you seen that have reacted to structural changes or economic changes in the marketplace, or they've been proactively engaged in their market, and they have scenarios,
Yeah.
scenario A
Right.
and scenario B. We don't want to go to B, but
Well, we have to. That's what we got to do.
and it'll be a turnkey. And then
Those
we're
that
there.
didn't do that, they're no
Right.
longer in business.
Right. And so we need to look at it the same way in government. Now, I know government's different. I've been in government. We can't run government like a business per se, because there's more checks and balances, and
Well,
you're not the
it
owner
operates,
of the, right.
It operates at the speed of smell.
It does. It
Okay,
does.
so
Yeah.
you've got to plan for that.
But you got to plan for
You
that. Yeah,
instead of waiting to think you can get something done in 6 months, back up. It's going to take 18 months.
exactly.
And,
Exactly.
6 months in the business world could be 2 years
Mhm.
in the government world.
Yeah. And I just,
So-
I mean, I just think that when you look at Shelbyville proper, we've got some good things going on in the square.
Okay, that's within the city.
That's
and
that's
we've
within
had
the city, and I like what I'm seeing up there, and I'd like to see some replication or
Right.
some ripples of that out into the community a little bit more. The rest of Shelbyville proper needs a lot of work, needs a lot of
Yeah.
leadership around that, and input from the community.
right,
you
of
know.
course.
Yeah.
And I think the more people start getting involved, voicing what they would like to see happen,
Exactly.
it's gonna push our representatives into the corner of representing
Yep.
or just bucking what everybody wants. And I think they've never been pushed into that corner before to say, well, this is what the people are wanting, and this
Mhm.
is what we've got to do.
Yeah.
But they need to hear from everybody.
Let's just not show up when it's that dirty business that's coming to town,
It's
or that bunch of housing that
Right.
nobody wants,
Right.
that's not going to perk
Right.
properly, etc. Let's just not show up for those events. Let's show up in the planning phase, and let's be engaged and be a part of that.
right. Okay. Speaking of that, and speaking of I mentioned earlier about people talking about property taxes. Back in, what was it, 2018?
Mhm.
You brought a proposal to do this tax freeze
For the
on
senior
senior
citizens, yeah.
citizens. And now Josh Blevins and Eric Maddox have come together, city and county, with
Yeah.
a proposal, and they formed a committee.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I hope we get some representation to join in here
Yeah.
and actually get this done, because it's a no-brainer. But back then you kind of went solo on this.
Yep.
Tell me the obstacles that you had, and why weren't people coming out and trying to support that when it's a no-brainer? 90% of the people would say, yes, we need to do that.
Yeah, well,
so
not-
why not?
90% of the people were saying, yes, we need to
Right.
do that.
Okay. Did you
All right.
hear from them? That's the thing, the way it needed to be voiced.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of those people could have shown up to some more of those meetings to show support. I think, again, that's community engagement, and that puts the pressure on the political class to do the right thing. Back then, I think there were some staffing issues with a couple of offices that would have to engage with the public during the time to implement these programs. I believe that those, through budget increases and through salary increases and more manpower and woman power there in the county government, they've got what they need now to implement these programs. To me, it's a no-brainer. You've got 30 something other counties in Tennessee that are doing it?
27
27 other counties
in a lot of cities.
in a lot of cities. I mean, my grandfather was on it over in Knoxville. I don't think at this point, and we're not talking about a large number of people, but I don't think at this point, if we give senior citizens a property tax freeze, which means they still pay their property taxes, but
Right.
they just freeze it at the current rate. David, that's not going to defund the fire department.
No,
That's not
no.
going to defund
We're talking about a couple $100,000, man.
any of these
We
departments.
dropped that
Yeah.
on the ground.
And everybody's still going to get the raise.
Yes.
Everybody's going to be fine. But you know what it does? It sends a signal that we take care of our people here in Bedford County. That'd be step one of showing some good faith towards our own people, especially when you've got Republicans in those offices, right? It makes sense that they would do that.
Yeah. Well, I just see that there's probably going to be some pushback at some areas because, that's gonna make us off on our budget, and it's only a couple $100,000.
Wait a minute, I got an idea.
All
Off
right.
on my budget. How about this? When it comes
All
to budget, instead of doing a big boondoggle behemoth of a budget,
the omnibus,
the
bill.
omnibus bill,
this big beautiful bill.
let's do a line item budget.
How about that?
And here's my hypothesis on the line item budget. I think we could get more things done. I think we could get more things funded because all of a sudden you're going to see more unity around good government. Because what we have now, and it's just not Bedford County, it's all over the place, right? You get a bill and it funds your teachers, it funds your police, it funds all the things that need to be funded that we all agree on. But then there's some pork that's stuffed here, and there's a little pork that's stuck over here and earmarked over here, and it's in the budget, right? And it may just be 1% of the budget, but you may be very opposed to those things.
And most everybody else too.
And most everybody else too. And your constituents, most importantly, are very opposed to it. So you vote no on that budget, right? All of a sudden, you're anti-police, you're anti-teacher, you're anti-everything.
Yep.
And so what that does is it promotes, I think, bad government and bad budgets and bad decision-making. If we went line by line, here's the school budget, here's the fire department's budget, here's the police budget, here's this budget, that budget, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, and then guess what, guys? We've still got, I'm just going to pick a number, $100,000. We've got $100,000 of discretionary funds. Now let's have a debate. Let's talk about, and by the way, I'm the mayor or whoever's the mayor. Here's my vision for where I'd like to spend that. So let's debate on that. Let's get the community involved and let's debate on that. Now, I know that may sound crazy to government workers, but I guarantee you, everybody out there listening,
it makes sense to it.
I think most everybody says that makes sense.
That commission meeting might go 2 hours.
Well, if that's what it takes, and I know that's frustrating. I've sat some of those long commission meetings, but
that's part of the job.
That's part of the job, man.
I mean, the budget, that's one of the biggest meetings that you're going to have all year.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody kind of tailor when the first of the year comes, you start looking, May and June, here we go. Yeah. It's budget time. And then you come in and it's just one great big old wad.
Right.
And all this garbage is just piled into it. It's insane. As somebody that follows it, I can't believe they're doing this. I cannot believe it.
And we wonder why nothing changes. We wonder why things stay status quo. Right. And that's the definition of insanity. Continuing to do the same thing over and over again. Yep. We vote new people in, but everything stays the same.
I'll tell you why. A lot of the reason it's bundled. Of course, you get those little projects slid through.
Well,
and it's political theater.
It's political favors.
All right. Well, I'm saying if they don't vote, like you said, if you don't vote for it, then you're against that.
That's kabuki theater. Yeah, that's what that is.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. But one of the main reasons is if you did a line item, the people who have conflicts of interest will have to stand up and read a disclaimer and say, I have a conflict of interest.
Excellent point. So right now on the county commission, boy, this is going to make some people sore, David. This is going to make some people sore. We're sitting at almost half of the commission has a conflict. Is that?
Yeah.
And what is that conflict?
Employees.
Yeah.
Employees are directly related to an employee that's gaining from or making decisions on their pay. Yeah. I mean, it is one of the worst conflicts of interest you could possibly come up with.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. And, do I think that county employees should be serving on the county commission? Absolutely. Absolutely. But have the ethics to say, you know what, if we're going to vote on my raise, I'm going to recuse myself on this one,
Yep. Of course. And when you do line item at a time, that happens. Yeah. If I'm working for the sheriff's department and that budget line item comes up, you read your disclaimer and back out of it.
Yeah.
You still got a quorum.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
It's pretty simple.
But that's another topic to talk about. I mean, there's a lot of things that could be done to gain some trust back.
Well, there's a lot of things that are being done that the community has no idea that are happening.
Yep. Well, there's a lot of things we can talk about, Brent. And I want you to come back.
I'd love
of course.
to.
And we're
thanks
going to
for
have
having me. Yeah.
we're going to start this conversation show and make it live some.
Mm-hmm.
I usually record it, but I think live it lets people see us think while we're talking.
Yeah,
and
yeah. Just having a good time
and it's
just
kind of
talking.
fun.
Yeah.
But a lot of things are facing us as a country and as a community.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to have discussions and begin planning, like you talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Planning, get the whiteboard out. You know, I've got a whiteboard, Brent. Maybe we need to turn the camera off and just start writing some things down about what we need to do around here.
And if you look at the best communities around our country, you know, small communities like ours, bigger ones, they all have huge community engagement.
Yeah.
Not a lot of apathy, huge community engagement, and they move projects forward. They move ideas forward, and all of a sudden their community has an identity with their culture and with the people that live in their community versus a select few that make the decisions, and the community is stuck with either the decisions maybe they appreciate,
right.
but also the ones that are the bad decisions.
We've got a history of both of those things happening,
Yeah.
the good ones
Yeah.
and the bad ones.
Yeah.
And the bad ones just stare at you. You know, you saw they just keeps looking at us. You know, here we are.
Yeah.
Here I am. Look at me. Look at what you did.
I would like to say one last thing on this fourth turning. We are in this crisis phase right now, but that doesn't mean things have to be bad. That doesn't mean things
I know
have to go negative, have to go, you know, 0 dark 30. This is an opportunity for those of us who are willing to put in the time and the effort, whether it's community conversations like this, whether it's politicians doing the right thing, planning better. We have a chance, a pivotal crossroads, like that old vision you see down in Mississippi, the crossroads.
Yeah.
We are at those crossroads, and we have a chance to do something great. But if we stand by and we're victims, or we stand by and we wait till it happens, and then we're just pointing fingers.
Well, look how we came out of the Great Depression as a nation.
Yeah.
Okay. That was one of those moments that you're talking about,
Yes.
the turning. Okay. We're about at that 100-year mark.
Yep.
Okay. This is happening. We can fly right through this thing if everybody stays focused on what we need to do. And that's politically, that's economically,
Mm-hmm.
that might mean that we work harder. That might mean we work smarter. There's a whole lot of things that we can do to dampen the effects of something that would typically cause chaos. So,
well, and if you've got an idea, I mean, call David, come on the show and get it out here. I mean, every idea is a good idea, because right now we lack a lot of new ideas.
One thing I love about Catherine Austin Fitz,
Mm-hmm.
and we've had her on here before, and hopefully we can have her on
Yeah,
to discuss
I wanna
this.
do
Yeah, we want to do that.
Yeah.
She talks about knowing people in your community and forming little networks.
Yes.
In case of a collapse of the economy or something, where you've got somebody that's a great mechanic, somebody that raises food, raises beef, has livestock.
You can't do it all. This whole idea,
Right.
I'm going to move out in the country and do it all. It's kind of been a fad, but I think
Right.
a lot of those folks have realized now, they can grow some food, and they can have, a cow or two and a few sheep or a goat. But my gosh, I mean, they can't grow the corn too. They can't do all these other things that is what makes a community a community. You have to have a guy that knows how to weld, so when you're out bush hogging and you break that bush hog, he can come slap a couple beads on it and fix it for you.
Exactly. Well, there's one thing, Brent, that I would challenge everybody to do, that everybody could do. If you own a home, if you've got a home and you've got a typical backyard, and maybe just put out a 10 by 10 section and grow some cucumbers, tomatoes, just a few fresh vegetables, and get in the habit of working that, because down the road, just think how much money that would save you from the grocery store. If prices continue to go up, more and more people are going to do that, and they already are.
Well, and another thing, I don't care what you grow.
Right.
You always have too much, because it all comes in at once. And then you know what? And then you get the chance to go to that neighbor, maybe you only see her on the holidays, and say, hey man, I've got way too many, okra or squash or tomatoes here. They're yours. Take them. Yeah. And then you start forming that community.
Right. Yeah. That's pretty neat to watch.
It is.
And I think we're going to see more and more of that. You're starting to see these local processing, meat processing places. Mm-hmm. We've got 2 or 3 around here, and people are going to that because the price of beef is through the roof, and the quality you're getting is so much better.
Your local farmer. I mean, he grew it just down the road. Yeah.
Well, we're going to come back and talk again, Brent.
Let's do it.
I want to have you back on real soon. And thanks everybody for watching. We appreciate your comments in there. We weren't ignoring it, but we got engrossed into our conversation, and that's what this is about. Y'all can just watch in and make the comments. Thanks for that. Diane Neely, town hall meetings engagement is critical, moving our county forward 100%. And first step for the budget is to have those budget request review meetings at a time when all could attend.
Yeah, they're at 4 o'clock right now, right?
Yeah, right in the middle of the work week, man.
I mean,
work day.
4 o'clock. Who can make?
Nobody can.
Nobody can.
No,
make
man.
that.
That should be at 7 o'clock.
It's 7 o'clock. Heck, 8 o'clock. Everybody can make
you
it.
talking
8
about this has been tried before, and they're laughed at.
Yeah.
People that suggest it's laughed at.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a joke. They think because they're putting it on YouTube now. You got commissioners that are still working and can't even get to the committee meetings.
Yeah, it happened to me a couple of times. I couldn't make it. Yeah.
Well, guys, thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank you.
This edition of Conversations. And Brent, thanks again.
Thank
we'll
you.
see you guys